6 chapters, as you see them stated there. And in those chapters, when you read each one of them, you realize everything on earth is catered for. How we take care of the plants, the animals, the land itself, how we take care of ourselves, because we must co-live with all the other creatures on earth. Therefore, the Pope asks us to look at all creation and address this crisis and mistreatment that is going on. This is one of the reasons that even poverty is increasing. Corruption, high consumption rates. We are greedy, we want to have more. You might be seated here, some of you might be having 2 phones, a tablet, a laptop. All these things do related things, but you have all the devices there. So when it's time to dispose them off, in one way or another, you're affecting the what? The environment. These gadgets are made up of rubber, plastics, which take hundreds of years to decompose. So if we save the environment or our actions, who do they affect? Let us save the intimate relationship between the poor and the fragility of the planet. The people who are going to suffer most are the poor. But they will be suffering because of the consequences of the rich. Am I lying? Because the farmer in the village has, some of them don't even have phones. But the climate change is affecting them more. So let us save the poor from this suffering. I don't know if it's possible to share with you these notes, but I won't go through everything that I researched. Yes, I'll share with you. So when you look at the Laudato Si, as the Pope states, it's not about religion, it's not about your capacity, but it calls upon each one of us to take care of our common home. So is Pope Francis the first to call upon the human race to save nature? No. He's not the first Pope. In the past, we've had popes who have talked about the earth, our common home. We all understand that from the 18s, like 1890 there, industrialization had already begun in Europe. And there was a lot of emission of gases in the air. So you can see Pope Leo also wrote about it, that we should take care of our environment. But well, the world didn't mind. We continued processing and getting new gadgets, new technologies, new products that are made. Pope Paul VI also wrote about this same issue, the progress of people, and how the progress of people will give them better lives, but will affect the quality of their lives. And today we are seeing it. We have a better life, not so? We have the cars, we have the phones, you can reach anyone how you want. But we also have the cancer, not so? We are no longer consuming organic foods. When we were young, eating chicken was very hard because one whole hen would take, I think, a full year to grow. But now, if I want chicken, it can be grown for 3 months or 2 months, then I eat. Actually, 3 weeks, then you eat. So, yes, we've progressed. We have everything we want. but the quality of our life has reduced. I'm sure each one of us seated in this room has a sickness, either a toothache or something like that. Those small, small things, my eye hurts, but you know the reason why your eye hurts, like myself, over sitting on the computer. So we've progressed, but the quality of our life has done what? Reduced. So Pope Benedict the Late, for him actually the world nicknamed him the Green Pope, because every time he spoke, he talked about the environment. And so many saints like St. Francis have talked about the environment and how we can preserve it. And we know this information. Pope Francis normally quotes a bishop, a Portuguese bishop, Flores, tells the people that the earth is on a loan to each generation. And each generation hands over this earth to the next generation. I don't know if our generation will have something to hand over, especially here in Kampala. I think we shall hand over sewage, papers. I don't know you people who stay in Kampala, but when you move up country, you can sense the difference between the air you consume here. Because here in the city right now, we are in a crisis. When it's cold, it's too cold. When it's hot, it's extremely hot. So that imbalance that we are having. So is the quality of your life going to improve when you're inhaling air that is not clean? I don't think so. So it's everyone's responsibility to take care of our common home. How have we affected the earth? There is a lot of pollution and waste. Here in Kampala, it's obvious. You can see waste everywhere. I think even in our room, there is waste on the floor. I don't know. Look around if you have a boat on the floor. Waste is not only in form of rubbish. Also, the water we consume has been affected in very many ways. And I would like to give this testimony. When I was in Kampala, every year I would treat typhoid twice. When I went to Ruwero, I've never gotten typhoid. And yet, I take boiled water, bottled water, I use national water. So there is something wrong with the water. So even if we say we've progressed as human beings, we have the chemicals to treat the water, it's not enough. We still need to be as clean as possible. And I noticed that just like that, suddenly, I was no longer getting typhoid because of the quality, the difference of the pollution in the area is different from here. So we shall also lose the biodiversity. Some species will die. I was looking at one of the researches showing the effects of contraceptives on the marine. I don't know if many of you have watched the video. If I download it, I can send it to you. And when you look at, they are saying they are getting more of one sex of the fish. So the fish are more like female and not male. And that was because of the waste from the contraceptives. Yes. And we don't know. And many of you will wonder how. When you go to the toilet, that sewage is connected to the sewer system. Then when it reaches maybe their store, they cleanse it, then filter, then release it back into the lake. If you go to Jinja, they will show you the middle part of the lake where they release it. Yes. If you didn't know, even Lozera, if you didn't know, now you know. So all your urine, after a little cleaning, they take it back. So all the chemicals you're consuming, they go back into you, and all the other creatures we are what? Affecting. So now you understand. So, and I think that is even affecting us, because we know contraceptives have hormones in them. They are hormonal, not so? So I don't know the quality of men we shall have in the next few years. Yes, we are not seeing these things, but that is the way they work. These chemicals don't go. We consume them. So the Pope sees this climate change as an important fact, and we all need to act, because the quality of our life will decline, the poor will suffer more. I think you've been to the slums. The rich man who is settled in the swamp will raise his building. Then the poor who can't raise their buildings will suffer the flooding. We see this in Kampala. A lot has been said on media. A lot has been said on media, and a number of treaties have been signed. I would like to show you the number of treaties that have been signed. Go to the climate action. So just, that is the effect. Just here in the corner, this is Boise. I even know this building. Where you see that? That is Boise. This one, we are very sure this must be a road in Kampala. And we are wondering if the people in the village are affected, but there is drought. There are times people plant their maize. They expect the rains to go on for probably 2 months or 3. Then it suddenly stops. And someone who has planted their 4 acres makes that big loss. So I wanted to talk about the number of treaties that have been signed. Let me start from here, because some of you might be wondering, has anything been done? We've signed treaties, and treaties have been signed in different countries. Groups have been formed, organizations have been formed, as you see there. They've set goals year after year, but the situation is getting worse. Meaning we are not walking the talk. So you see, these are some of the climate governance frameworks that have been in place, or that have been put in place by different organizations. However, they are set, people are called into summits, they sit like we are seated here, we talk the whole day, then we go back with the information. Even they'll call me on another day to present the same thing, I'll present it so well. Then we shall go back without actions. So our governments have acted by talking. We are aware of the corruption, but we can still start from somewhere. And I'm going to give some of the mitigations we can have. So we can see clearly the impact of this climate change, the poor people they are talking about who will be affected. And this is not happening only here. In Uganda, we are just lucky. We don't get fire outbreaks like in Europe. They normally get the fire outbreaks and the strong storms. And I don't know if some of you have been to India. Their only river is the most polluted river in the entire world. And when we look at this side, this is the situation of Uganda. And where I come from, water is very scarce in Luwero. So we also line up like that for water, especially in places where there is no borehole. But if you depend on national water, water is seasonal. They will tell you it will be there in the morning, the evening it won't be there. So let us go straight to the adaptive methods we can have. We still have hope. We can still do something. We can do something on a personal level, because one by one, when we have solutions, it's better than when we wait for the government. Let us remember, our government does not own our land. Most of us own private land. So let us look at the mitigations we can have. Some of the ways we are affecting the environment: we've slashed the forests and engaged into agriculture. Agriculture is good. However, it's not sustainable for all the other creatures. Because once you slash a forest, the snakes go, the monkeys will look for where to be, other birds will look for where to go, and all those different insects. So with agriculture, we have animals overfeeding, overgrazing. And there is a solution. We can plant grass. Guyana is a very good grass that can be planted and dried. And then instead of animals moving from place to place, you feed your cattle from home instead of them grazing from everywhere. That is also just a second type of grass. In Uganda here, we've not yet appreciated these grasses. So the people who are growing these grasses are exporting them to Kenya. You wonder, how do I benefit? You can invest in this. For example, if you grow this grass, you slash the first layer, dry it, package it, sell it to the farmers. You don't need to replant. The other grass automatically keeps growing. You keep slashing. So you imagine every after a month or two, you're slashing, selling to the farmers, because each bundle, which can be as big as from here up to here, goes for 20,000. So you can package it and you keep selling. Currently, and this grass, when it's dried, it's better than your animals grazing from everywhere, because they will even give you more milk and they will become even fatter, because dry grass is better than the green grass they feed on. We can look at valley tanks. One of the biggest problems we have here is that many people do not harvest water. And then during the dry season, we suffer looking for water. So if we could harvest this water and use it for other things, irrigation, animals drinking, it would be good. But instead, and I think this is what is affecting even our city, there is no way water is harvested. So when it falls, it just floods. So we need these valley tanks to be constructed close to us. Then we can also have underground tanks. This method has been around. from the time I was a child, I knew there was what they call an underground tank. You store there water, it will always be cool and clean. So we can also have underground tanks. So this is how the animals feed on the other grass I told you. You don't need to take them around feeding them. So we can also have other forms of mitigations, like with vegetable production. One of the issues affecting our farmers, we are no longer practicing the old methods of farming like our ancestors. So if the ground is not covered, we all know evaporation takes place and the plants do what? Dry. Not only does this grass keep the moisture within the soil, but also it acts as manure for the plants. So we can also have, so this is one way of having preventative methods. You're wondering why some places overflood, because there is too much evaporation. When you clear the forests and everything, evaporation is too much. As you know the process, the clouds are loaded with a lot of moisture, then suddenly you see the rains. And basing on what is affecting us, the droughts in some areas have begun. We can still have irrigation in different forms. It's an adaptive method. And we can go back to the old ways of growing our matoke. When we were growing up, this is how the gardens looked, unlike today. Today we just want to spray and actually, I would like to tell you people, none of you is feeding on organic food. We keep spraying the ground and the foods with fertilizers. Why? Because we don't want to work. Because covering the garden like this requires energy. It requires you to look for the grass, slash it, cover the ground so that it keeps the moisture. But this is the most organic way to grow the bananas. But we are not doing that. So we need to go back to these old methods. Then we can have mitigations. And we can have some mitigations. In other words, there are ways we can minimize the crisis we are in right now. One of them is planting trees. However, these days, they are not even advising us to just plant trees. Because when people plant their forests of eucalyptus, after 2 or 3 years, they cut them. There we don't benefit. These days, they are encouraging us to plant fruit trees or the long-lasting trees, mahogany, the oak trees. Because these ones, as you see them, the eucalyptus, are more profit-benefiting trees. So we need to plant trees that we are not going to do what? To cut tomorrow. But trees are also a mitigation method we can have. We can use solar to save energy, to benefit from the too much sun. Someone might wonder, how do we benefit from the solar? And how does solar help with the environment? All the things we do are interconnected. When you look at the gadgets, the food we consume, you realize production of some foods requires more energy. And provided it requires more energy, we need to consume more of our environment by destroying it in a good way. So we need to use the methods available. We need to change the cook stoves we have. We may use more energy-saving cook stoves. So that is a picture of someone on a small plot, on a small acre of land, and how they can easily profit from it without using very many external gadgets to maintain their land. So as you see, he has water pans, a small water pump, open field irrigation to facilitate their farming. So there are also different methods of adaptations we can have. Some of you come from hilly areas. We can use terraces to avoid the mudds and the floodings, just to hold back the good soils from erosion. And unfortunately, this is the bitter truth. The Living Earth statistics shows 1 American citizen consumes that much. If 1 American citizen, what they need is that much, we shall need more planets. And no wonder the whites have started coming this side, because their country is no longer enough for them. So we shouldn't live on Earth as if we are the last generation. Switch on the next slide. The next slide for the youth slide. The youth. So during the fight against climate change, what will it take for policymakers to bring the voice of the youth to the table? How would it look like if we had the youth drive the agenda of the green economic development? Do you have an idea of how you'd want it to be done? If governments developed partnerships with the universities and the education institutions, adopted strategies needed in order to produce empowered youth who drive their own destiny and transform their communities in preventing the reversing climate change. Youth are the critical force in the development of any society. And as we know in Uganda, the youth, people below 35 years, are 80% of the total population. I think we are the second youngest population in the world. We are the second youngest country in the world. However, what our elders have handed to us is a spoiled environment. And we need to rectify this environment without giving any excuses on what we should do. Since we need a collective effort, we won't ring bells for this collective effort. Each one of us, in your private room, in your private sitting and meditation, should ensure you're doing the right thing at all times without supervision. There are a few methods of checkup you can use to see if you're doing the right thing. For example, in your house, how do you deposit off the rubbish? Which kind of food do you consume? Which kind of clothes do you wear? Do you need all the gadgets you have in your house? Do you? Do you need the multiple pairs of shoes you have? the many clothes you have? Hmm? Do you need them? Dear youth, the world is weary, but we are strength. The world is sick, but we are the therapy. And we are here to make the world healthy again with hard work, with honesty, with clarity, with decency, with morality, and with hope that is rooted in collective action to address climate change. We are the products of the loving mothers and caring fathers. Our generation has been over-pampered. Everything has been given to us. We consume more than we need. We've been given the small toy cars. We've been given the small dolls. And all this is plastic. Where was it deposited after we played? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Let us be the generation that reshapes our economy to a green economy that can compete in the digital age. Let us turn global warming into a vehicle for innovation and job creation. Let us be the generation that tackles this global crisis through pursuing a clean energy path. We cannot burn and drill our way to prosperity because it's very risky and costly on human life. Let us be the generation that reverses climate change as we help our country skip the dirty phase of development by adopting to climate resilient pathways, defined as a development trajectory that combines both adoption and mitigation with effective institutions to realize the goal of sustainable development. It's our opportunity to rewrite history. And as we act, let us also advocate for and call upon our government to implement the National Adaptation Plan of Action. You remember the treaties I first displayed here? The government has written a number of documents and treaties. I don't know where the interpreter is. Should we continue? Should we wait for? Okay, let's wait for him. Okay, let's continue. I've been advised I'll share with the document with them on WhatsApp. Okay. So we need to improve on our food security and water management. And we need to reduce emission of gases at least by 22% by 2030, because this is what was agreed upon in the treaty of the NDCs. However, the country or the government cannot do this alone. Mind you, the government is you and me. So each one of us collectively can do this work. And at this point, I would like to set an assignment for each diocese and each team here. And I think after lunch, you will hand over what you've discussed as a team. So for Kampala team, you're going to come up with ways, adaptive ways or mitigation of controlling climate change here in Kampala. Because we are from different places, not so? Then my people of Luwero, you're also going to come up with adaptive and mitigation methods of climate change that can help, that are suitable in Luwero based on the kind of work we do in Luwero. Then the YCSs, where are you? You're also going to come up with the same mitigations and adaptations that can work in your communities. Then my friends here, I don't know who is going to interpret. You write for them. So they may come up with mitigations and adaptive methods that they can practice as youth in their communities. Bambi, when you're looking for these methods, look for practical things. Don't just Google things, eh? Look for practical things that can work in our what? In our communities. And with that, I thank you for listening. Thank you very much. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, our presenter, our facilitator on Laudato Si. Allow me also to give a vote of thanks to the online participants, the likes of Ivan, Patrick, Helen, that are following us. We thank you and we thank you very much. Now, allow me to request my brother here to give a vote of thanks.
The Lord is good, and all the time. Thank you, Linus. I will give a vote of thanks basing on the morning session and this continuation of the session. I believe you have learned a lot right from the presentation of Reverend Father Wokorash. I am so humbled that we are gathered here to learn this as youth leaders in our different dioceses and community and national leadership or national movement. There is something I picked, and I'm also so glad to tell you that I am one of the animators of Laudato Si Africa. So when they present on Laudato Si, it is just my happiness. That is why we demonstrated how we can protect our environment just right from the bottle experiment we have seen. That is how we protect the environment. The facilitator talked of trees moving from planting the eucalyptus tree to other trees. We advise we plant fruit trees mostly. Because I was asked when I went to one of the universities that how can we plant trees? I said, that was Chambogo University per se. I said you can plant a fruit tree because the community will also benefit. Father cannot go and cut down the tree when he knows he's going to eat of the mango from that tree. That is the trick as young people. Then, of course, I also have a live testimony of Reverend Father Patrick Masut from Tororo Ecclesiastical Province. He also facilitated, and he said the reason why he doesn't have a car is because he's reducing on the carbon dioxide released by the vehicle in the space. That is all aspects of that to see. So therefore, as youth leaders, what are we going to do in our community? That is, I would like to thank you, our facilitators. Yes, I would like to thank you, our facilitators. Father Walter, for your facilitation. It was also marvelous. We always say that the death of an elderly person is like a burning library. The reason why we have these facilitators and the elderly people is because they are rich in knowledge that we don't have. So it is beneficial as youth we are gathered here and we have the elders. We had Reverend Father Dr. Peter Debo. He gave us a lot on yesterday's facilitation, and Reverend Father Stephen Chandia. He also gave us a lot. Those are the elderly people we have that are rich in knowledge that we don't have as young people. Therefore, how are we going to transform our lives as young people? Thank you so much for the gift you are giving us. May God bless you and reward you abundantly so that you can extend the same gift to other people in the ministry of the youth. As we are gathered as youth at this juncture, if you have any questions.
I know it's time for lunch, but as our brother is saying, you could be having some questions. You can write them down. Is it okay? But if you want a quick one, you can take the microphone. But of course, the chaplains are here. Basically, we can write down. And
others can be writing, but this one is a quick one.
Good afternoon to you all. I also like to take the opportunity to thank Mama for presenting on environment. I take the microphone because I'm a student of environmental science and technology. I would like to add something small on what Mama has presented. Is environment needs commitment. Without commitment, environment is going nowhere. We are supposed to be committed. Even the Laodicean C, the Pope said, needs commitment. The commitment is the water we take, it needs to be, the bottle is need to be used using 3 R's. The reuse, reduce, and recycle. If you see a bottle without that, that means they are not protecting the environment. The next thing, the environment we have, we need sustainability, environmental sustainability. How? We are not stopping you that you are not supposed to use gadgets, you are not supposed to drink water bottle, you are not supposed to, because they are needed in life, but it needs to be sustainable. It needs to be sustainable. In homes, parents in home, let's make they said separation of waste, where we have the domestic waste different from electronic waste, so that it helps for people for renewing and reusing to make it sustainable and making quick. The next thing is, let's leave the wetland. Let's leave the wetland, because wetland gives a lot of ecology to our health. Wetland help us so that, most especially, wetland help to filtrate the lakes. Where when we have dirty waters from the cities, when it's passing into the lake, it is got filtrated, and the water that enters the lakes is a clean water. Therefore, I would like to ask you, to request you that if the seminars we have, it was so fruitful. How I wish we practice the environment by planting a single tree today as we are living, to portray that we are doing climate change by action, not by speaking, by working, not by just saying. We have to do it by action, by planting a tree. In all, without tree, we are no more, because we start from tree and we bring other. Tree give us oxygen and we give them carbon dioxide. Tree can survive without us because for them they can sustain. And if you cut a tree, meaning you are losing your life. Thank you all. I would like to appreciate everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kindly, I request note down your questions. They will be responded to. In 5, 7, 8 minutes, let us learn the Laudato Si anthem. Okay.
I hope you get the sense that Laudato Si is the Italian word. And we have a Luganda anthem for it before we learn the Italian one. It comes from the St. Francis. That's the phrase of St. Francis of Assisi. He is the one who is called the patron of nature because he loved nature so much. And he called brother sun, sister moon. So he used to go and pray in nature. And he did a lot of meditations and he lived it. So in Luganda, that psalm is Atenderezewe omukama, atenderezewe omukama katonda w'amagye, atenderezewe omukama, agulumizibwe omutonzi w'eggulu n'ensi. Ebinyonyi eby'omu bbanga tubitende, ebyewalula n'ebyuka tumutende, ebisolo ebyeyo mu nsiko bimutende, ebyennyanja n'ennyanja bimutende. Atenderezebwe omukama, atenderezebwe omukama katonda w'amagye, atenderezebwe omukama, agulumizibwe omutonzi w'eggulu n'ensi. You know the Pope has the Italian roots, and the song we are going to learn is the Latin. They sing it in mass. That's what we sing Atenderezebwe. So when he was writing this encyclical, he had those sweet memories of everyone in Italy sings that Laudato Si song in mass, in what. It's a common song. So he wanted to share us that experience. But the roots from St. Francis, and St. Francis who loved nature and used nature to reach God. Actually, as some of it, as she has explained, you don't preserve nature because you want to survive and be healthy. We preserve nature because God is a creation. And we are that custodians with the mandate to develop the world, not to kill it, to enjoy it. So let's learn the Italian version of the Laudato Si.
It's a quick one. As we do this, time, I don't know. Yeah?
Actually, it's not difficult. You can see it's not difficult. It's not difficult, you can see. Okay. I found this copy a few minutes ago. So we can learn as youth leaders, the animators. We go back to our diocese when we know, at least.
Your question. Okay, let me. Excuse me.
I don't know.
Are we having this?
Okay. We are going to say Laudato Si. O mi Signore. Laudato Si. O mi Signore. First of all, this Laudato Si, it's a song that was worded or lyric by Damian Londi and based on St. Francis of Assisi. And the music is a traditional Italian melody, as Father said, arranged by a gentleman called Michael Irene. Laudato Si, O mi Signore, means praise be to you, O my Lord. Laudato si, O mi Signore. Laudato si, O mi Signore. Laudato si, O mi Signore. Let's sing that part again. Laudato si, O mi Signore. Laudato si, O mi Signore. The second part is Laudato si, O mi Signore. Laudato si. We got that part? Laudato si, O mi Signore. Laudato si. From the beginning to that part. Laudato si, O mi Signore. Laudato si, O mi Signore. Laudato si, O mi Signore. Laudato si. Then this part here. O mi Signore. We go. O mi Signore. From the beginning to the end. Laudato si, O mi Signore. 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 The verse goes like, yes, be praised, yes, yes, be praised in all your creatures. We go. Yes, be praised in all your. Yes, be praised in all your creatures. We go. Yes, be praised in all your creatures. Son. Then the second one is sun, a brother, moon, a sister. We go. Sun, a brother, moon, a sister. In the stars and in the in the stars and in the breezes. We go. In the stars and in the breezes. Then the last part is air and fire and flowing water. We go. Air and fire and flowing water. Laudato si, O mi Signore. 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 Yeah. Okay. Have we learned the verse? Thank you so much. I don't know if we can sing the verse again. Okay, let's sing together. Praise be to you, God, right? 1, 2, 3, we go.
Laudato si, O mi Signore. 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 Laudato si, O mi Signore.
Okay.
Laudato si, Oh mi Signore laudato si.
The Lord is good all the time. Now we are going for lunch. I request now Father Chaplain. The questions, I think you write them down. Is it okay? The questions, yeah, that who have put, but after lunch, we start after lunch the questions. Yeah. Is it okay?
So, I've been invited to say the grace, so I sound more Catholic. Today I'm looking for the scripture you've been, so that I can put it in the prayer, but let me be more traditional. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Bless us, O Lord. May God bless those who have prepared for us this meal, and may God bless us with a good appetite. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Thank you. Okay, please get there. Yes. Online. Yeah, dear friends online, we have our TV presenter. Father is going to give you the Luganda version and a quick preview, and also something small, maybe from whatever was spoken, some in few minutes. As the rest will go for lunch, Father will give us some updates. Thank you, Father.
Abatuwuliriza tubaniriza nnyo abatugoberera ku mikutu gyaffe ku YouTube. Tuli wakati w'olunaku lwaffe olwokubiri. Gye twawunzikidde twamaze n'olugendo lwe twayise synodality. Ekereziya atambulira awamu nga tuli kimu, nga tuli bumu. Twebaza abakulu abatukulisiza mu kanyomero ako. Twali ne Father Peter Debo nga yakula ekitongole ky'okwiyigiriza eddiini oba ekitongole ky'eddiini ku kikola olw'abasumba Episcopal Conference. Tumwebaza kuba yatusizza mu kanyomero ako. Abantu we twogerera kati e Roma wali olukiiko tabamiruka olwogera ku ngeri butya ekereziya wasobola okutambulira awamu ffenna, bato bakulu, bampi bawanvu, baavu bagagga, ffenna mu ekereziya. Ate si ffekka n'abantu abatwetolodde ab'amadiini amalala, abakulembeze b'eddiini b'amawanga. Ng'omulamwa Paapa gwe yatusoomoleza, bangi mu ffe twagwetabamu mu bigo gye tuli. Batuwa ebibuuzo ne tubiddamu nga batubuuza, kereziya oyagala etambula etya? Twebaza nnyo abawayo ebirowoozo ne bisengejjebwa ku mutindo gw'essaza, ku bunedda gw'eggwanga, kati byagenda e Roma. We twogerera olutuulo olwokubiri basooka ne batuula ne basunsula ebirowoozo ne babigattagatta okuva mu nsi yonna. Kati we twogerera baddamu okwekkaanya biki ebikulu kereziya byeyinza okuyiga mu ebyo ebirowoozo bye twawaayo. Kati Faaza yatumenyeddemu n'atugamba nti kitooka amakulu gava mu ki? Kitegeeza ki? Tugamba nti synodality kitegeeza kutambulira wamu. Ekigambo ekyo ekereziya atambulira awamu akikola atya? Tuli bangi, ogenda mu mugendo guno tukola tutya? N'atuwa empagi 3 Papa gye yatuwa. Esooka kwe kussa ekimu. Tulina okussa ekimu. Tussa kimu tutya? Mu bye tukkiriza. Tussa kimu mu kubeeragana, mu nkolagana. Ekyokubiri mu kwetaba oba mu kwettanira mu butume bwaffe ng'Abakristu. Buli omu ku ffe ayitibwa okwenyigiramu obutereevu, si kulinda omugamba nti byabafaaza bino byabasomesa. Ffenna ekereziya buli omu waali yeetaba mu mulimu guno ogwa Kristu. N'ekisembayo gwe mugendo, kwe kutambula. Bwe tumala okukussa ekimu, bwe tumala okulaba bwe twetabamu, tutambule ne tugenda mu direction y'emu. Natugamba bino nno byetaaga enkola okubituukiriza obulungi. Ekisooka mu byonna ebigambo 3: okuwuliziganya, okukkaanya n'okusalawo nga twesigamye ku mwoyo omutuukirivu. Bino abisimbyeko essira tube twatana ekereziya atambulira awamu. Bino birina okubaawo. Okuwuliziganya buli omu nga samu n'ekitiibwa. Endowooza biyinza okuba nga byawukana, biyinza okuba byetulowooza bya njawulo, naye bw'ogenda owuliriza ojja kulabamu omulamwa. Munnanga ayinza okuba anyigirizibwa, munnanga ayinza okuba nga asiddwa ku bbali tafiibwako. Kati bw'akuba enduulu n'agamba bagundi mundinnya, bagundi munneerabidde, ffenna tutambulira wamu naye. Ekyokubiri kweyite encounter, akasisinkano, nti okukisookera ddala abazze okuwuliziganya mulina okuba nga mulina engeri gye musisinkana. Okusinkana si kutuula butuzi tuli wamu. Ennaku zo tulina meeting kati nga zetuliko za mutimbaga tetuli wamu, naye ate tulina ensisinkano, engeri gye tutambulira awamu ffenna. N'ekisembayo kyagambye kwe kutambula oba obutume. Tube tumala okuwuliziganya ne tuba n'ensisinkano eno enkwataganira awamu, tutambula nga tutambuza omulimu gw'Omukama. Guno nno byenyinamu emikulu egitambulizaako olukiiko luno. Father yatugambye nti Roma nga babiteesaako, Papa tayagala bisigale mu bitabo. Naffe abali eno mu communities tutandika okutandika n'enkola eno, ayagala ebeera enkola y'ekereziya nga tutambulira wamu, nga tuwuliziganya, nga tukwatagana, nga tusonyiwagana ebiganye, ffenna tuluubira kimu okwongera okutumbula mutindo gw'Obukristo. N'olwekyo ffe ng'abavubuka yatusomoozezza nnyo nti mu kifaananyi kyo sinodi eno ffe tukulembeddemu lwa mirundi ebiri. Ekisooka nti ffe tukyalina amaanyi, ffe tutwala ekereziya mu maaso ng'abavubuka. Kati bali bannaffe yabayise memory, bagamba obukadde magezi takubuulira kya mukaddiya. Bali bannaffe bayise mu bingi mu ekereziya. Tulimu abakulembeze b'ekereziya, tulimu bajjajjaffe abatuyigiriza eddiini, n'abakadde baffe batuyigiriza empisa n'obuntu bulamu. Bino byonna ffe tuli mu maaso gaabwe. Bwe bitulema nga tutunako emabega, naye ffe tulina amaanyi, ffe tulina obusobozi, ffe tulina bye tuluubirira mu maaso. Batulekera ekereziya n'ensi yonna nga baagala tukwate ennono yaffe tugitwale mu maaso. Kyavudde nti omulama guno ate mukulu nnyo ku bavubuka nti kereziya, Paapa ne bakadde baffe bandi bavuddewo, ebiteesebwa kati bigenda kusigala mu mikono gyaffe. Tubitegeere, tubitambulireko nga bwe baagala. Olwabadde olunaku olwajjo, olukedde olwaleero tukedde n'omulamwa ogwa Paapa gwe yatuwa. Sinodi eno nga tannatuula, Paapa yakola practice n'abavubuka bokka. Ku luno twabuuziddwa ffenna mu ekereziya, naye mu ntandikwa y'olugendo luno bavubuka bokka be baabuuzibwa, era abamu ku abali mu bukulembeze mwamanya mwafuna ebibuuzo ebyo. Era nga Paapa abuuza abavubuka kiki mwagala. Tulina programu ya TV egamba nti muvubuka weeyogerere. Omuvubuka ne boogera byonna ebibali mu mutwe bye baagala. Paapa kuno yatugamba bavubuka mweyogerere, ekereziya gye mwagala efaanana etya. Twawaayo ebirowoozo. Bwe byakuŋŋaanyizibwa bannaffe baatukiikirira, ne Paapa n'abikubamu ekitabo enjigiriza gye tuyita Christus Vivit, Kristu mulamu. Era tuba tuyimba ebigambo ebyo nga tubiddiŋŋana nti Kristu mulamu. Omanye abantu bwe bamala okuwa endowooza zaabwe, Paapa n'azisengejja ebirungi n'ebizibu ebiri mu ekereziya. Abavubuka baawaayo bingi ebibasoomooza, ebibamalamu amaanyi mu ekereziya, mu byenfuna, mu mbeera z'ensi. Ebbaluwa eno eringa okuddamu kwa Paapa gye tuli n'ebirowoozo ebyo, ye ng'agamba nti oluusi bw'otunulira ebizibu byo oyinza okuga nti Yezu yafa. Yezu yafa, tulina akayimba Yezu yafa luli lwamegwa olumbe, katuli wano fekka era tufudde. Paapa yatugamba nti mufudde abavubuka. Christ is alive. Kristo yafa, yazuukira. Ate bwe yaba yazuukira naffe atuzuukiza. Father tuyisizza mu lugendo olwo mu makya gano n'ebiwulire ebirungi. Kisooka atusumululidde obubaka bwa Paapa obwo. Lwaki Kristo yagamba nti Paapa atugamba nti Kristo mulamu. Atuwadde akavidiyo wano akalungi ennyo akalaga Omukama byakoze okuva ensi yatandika mu kitabo ekitukuvu, nga okuva mu masaka g'ensi ng'alwanirira bajjajjaffe Abayisirayiri. Dawudi n'akuba Goliyaati, Musa n'amuwanguza Falaawo, Yoshua n'amuwanguza ensi n'abasajja abangi ennyo. Nga ye Katonda oyo gwe tusinza, Katonda wa Yakobo, kabaka Dawudi, Katonda wa Isaaki, naffe ye Katonda waffe abavubuka. Faaza amaze ebbanga lingi nga tugamba nange atandikiddeyo ku mutwe ogw'omusanvu ogw'ebbaluwa eno ogulimu omulama okugamba nti musimbe emirandira. Emirandira mugisimbe mu Kristo. Munywere kubanga ensi eno erimu amayengo agatuyuuya. Tulina abatusolooza bangi, ate nga bangi mu bo bafere. Atuwadde wano testimony ez'abafere abavudde mu bufere nga babukooye. Naye ate ffe mutuyikiririzaamu. Atulaze firimu wano ey'omusajja pasita eyagamba nti azuukiza omusajja naye nga mazima omusajja yali tafudde. Bamuteekamu nga mulamu ne bateekamu n'akatuli n'essimu. Bwe batuuka mu kkanisa ne bakuba essimu nti kati zuukuka bawoga. Omusajja n'akuba egundi n'avuma. South Africa mwagiraba. Abagamba nti bawonye ate nga tebawonye bonna babatubuulidde. Faaza abadde atugamba ki? Teekereziya eno mulimu byonna bye mwetaaga. Edda waliyo akalango ka bbiya nga bagamba nti Nairobi yalina kyeweeta. Naffe ekereziya mu baluwa eno Papa atugamba emiranda ebimukisimba mu Kristo nga mulimu ekereziya mugenda kubeera banywevu gulugulu. Ate emirandira gino giri mu Kristo muvaamu enneema ezitunyweza mu bulamu bwaffe ne zituwanguza entalo zonna. Father tumwebaza nnyo kubanga agenza okumaliriza atuwadde kikyayise road map nti bw'omala okumanya Papa bye yatugambye birina okudda mu nkola. Ogumu ku mulama gw'omusirika luno nti bye tuyize tubiteeke mu nkola. Yagambye nti bw'omala okukisoma wandibadde ne action plan agiyise obutume bw'abavubuka bwandibadde butya. Atugambye nti obutume bwaffe ng'abavubuka buyunze mu kye twayize jjo. Omulimu omukulu mu butume bwaffe abavubuka kubunya ddiini eri yonna gye tubeera. Kati mbavubuka okusinga atuwaddemu empagi 3. Ekisooka agambye bwandibaddemu kyayise empowerment. Kitegeeza ki? Ti abantu bamanye okumanya okubangulibwa. Ekyokubiri okwenyigiramu. Tewulira muvubuka yandisigadde mabega oba mukulembeze oba memba alina kyalina okukola mu mugendo guno. Twetaba mu butume bwa Kristo naye nga tukola byetuteekwa okukola mu ngeri yaffe ya bulijjo. Ekyokusatu n'agamba yandibadde namutayiika tugita holistic. Tekikwata ku bya mwoyo byokka ti gurupu yaffe ekola mu ssaala zokka. Obutume obulambulule wayinza okubaawo abatusinga mu byessaala, waliwo abatusinga mu byemizannyo, mu katemba, mu bukugu, bonna gye bali. Naye atugambye ffenna tulina bateeka wamu tubigatte wamu olwo obutume bwaffe bube nga tebulina gwe bulese mabega. Kubanga bwe kiba kibwe kityo waliwo tujja okuleka emabega tajja kutuukako nga babaagala kapiira. Naye buli kapiira kitukola mu kapiira teekayo Kristo, mu katemba teekayo Kristo, mu bwabufuzi teekayo Kristo. Omulamwa ogw'obufudume obwo obuwedde. N'atugamba nti tulina okwegendereza ensi gye tulimu erimu emitego mingi n'ebizibu n'okugwamu amaanyi. Abali mu masomero mu mayunivasite gafuuse kattiro ak'obuvubuka n'okukkiriza. Abantu bayita omwo ne bayita emize emibi, bayita ebidiinidiini. Ate mu masomero gye twandiyigidde eddiini n'empisa. Kati nno Papa Father tusabye nywere gulugulu tunyiikire okumanya ate buli omu akwate munne ku mukono. Bwe tuwunzikidde olwaleero olwaggulo batuwadde essomo eriri ku mutima gwa Papa ne ku budde buno bwe tulimu erikwata ku butonde bw'ensi. Oluyimba olwo tuyimbye Laudato Si mu Luganda lugamba nti atenderezebwe Omukama Katonda w'amagye. Luteereza ki? Papa tukowoola nti bannange tuddemu okutunuulira obutonde bw'ensi singa bizinensi. Abantu nnaku zino bakuba amayinja, bafuuyira ebimera, batema emiti, abantu ne basimba emirala. Bw'obabuuza nti lwaki ti ati embeera y'ebyenfuna kirungi ebyenfuna. Naye Papa atugambye tuddemu tusome Genesis mu matandika. Omukama yatonda Adamu ne Eva yabagamba mugende mulye ensi ate mugikulaakulanye, si mugirye mugimalewo oba mugisaanyeewo. Ejjanga bulabika omulamu gutambula. Olwekyo omulambizi waffe Anet atuwadde bulungi ng'agenda alaba embeera bweri. Ate naffe nga tugiraba ebibugumu bwe kijja kiba kingi. Amazzi bwe gajja mataba ate bwe gakala ne tubeera mu kyeya pereketya, emmere neefa, ebirwadde byeyongera, ebiri mu mpewo, ebiri mu mazzi. Kitegeeza ki? Ti Papa kyatuyitidde kikulu. Tetukola butonde bwansi kubanga waliwo abiyimbirira. Olwo obutonde bw'ensi kubanga yenze nange ndiyo kitundu ku butonde bw'ensi. Yatugamba nti bwe tunaasamba tteke ne tugikuba obutonde bw'ensi bujja tuliza tteke ate ey'amaanyi. Yagamba nature can retaliate, it boomerangs. Suka bwoti kyetukasuka yenda kitudde. Bw'okasukayo kazambi yajja kuyingira mu bulamu bwo mu mubiri gwo. Si mu bwokka bw'obulamu naye n'ebw'omwoyo n'embeera z'abantu nga muzira bazigenda zikyuka. N'olwekyo wetumaliriza omusomo guno nga tusabibwa buli omu baako kyoka teme kuwulira buwulizi. Obutonde bw'ensi simbayo omuti. Kyusa ku mpisa ebintu by'olya ne by'okozesa. Amasannyalaze bw'oba obudde bulaba gajjeeko oba air conditioner. Buli kyonna ekisobola oyinza obutakitegeera naye ebintu bye tukozesa ebisi birina engeri ebikozesa obutonde bw'ensi oba mu kubikola oba mu kubiggyawo. Kati nga kompyuta ng'amasimu bw'ogula 6 omulundi ogumu ne gw'oteetaaga oba emmotoka 6 zonna nga zifuwa ebitika ebibi byongera okusanya obutonde bw'ensi. Nolwekyo tumaliriza akawungezi kano nga tubaagaliza okwongera okutugoberera ate n'okulaba nga bye tuteesa tubiteeka mu nkola. Mwebale nnyo abateesa baffe nammwe n'abatugoberedde naddala abatuwadde amagezi amalungi. Omukama abagenda batukuumira.